On November 4, 2003, two Beaver Falls High School students who had skipped school run into the Beaver Falls police station. Visibly afraid, what they had just seen in the crumbling shed next to the former Moltrup Steel plant shakes them to the core. The students had just found the body of Robin Sue Miller in an abandoned building. With some physical evidence to go on, police began to work leads and develop a list of suspects, but then the trail goes cold. Today, Robin Sue's family is still waiting for answers, waiting for justice. I'm LeVar McBride, and this is Cold Case, Beaver County.
911, what is your emergency?
You got three people of interest still, say, I do. Three people of interest, then you got that blank face.
Now that's why nobody really knows if she is dead or alive.
He was set free, and he was set free to go kill.
We've never gotten that one break. We've never gotten that one break. You know, we will though.
This is my 3-year-old, and I wish that her grandma could be here to meet her.
The body of 35-year-old Robin Sue Miller was left half naked in the shed. A basketball-sized rock that had been used to kill her was still in place. Initially, it seems as though the murder had taken place in the shed, but one vital clue stands out to lead investigator John DeLuca that makes him think she may have actually been killed elsewhere.
There was one shoe was missing, and the bottom of her sock wasn't dirty in any way compared to a dirt floor. From any training experience I've ever had in this, if you're going to kill someone, you're trying to get out of there in a hurry once you know you killed them, you're not going to pick up a shoe. And, you know, it was just odd to me. And that was the big thing that in all these years it stuck out with me, is the fact that, you know, we canvassed clear down to 11th Street, and where we found her was in the area of 15th Street. So you're talking 4 city blocks. We looked everywhere and couldn't locate this shoe.
Pronounced bruises on her neck led Captain DeLuca to a chilling conclusion.
The theory is, if you're struggling, strangling somebody, if she's kicking underneath you, trying to get free, does one of her shoes fall off? Does he know her shoe falls off? He's in a crime of the moment, and he's now very upset, adrenaline flowing, picks her up, throws her in the car. He don't even realize the shoe comes off. He don't even notice it. What if it goes under a bed, or, you know, he don't see it until 3 days later and says, oh my God, I gotta get rid of this. But, I mean, we just could never confirm that.
The investigation started from there and into Robin Sue's life, her lifestyle, and who would be with her and where she would have been and why she would be there.
Robin Sue's boyfriend was Jack Schaefer. We knew it was kind of an odd situation. Jack Schaefer was living with an older female, Audrey Schaefer, he was married to, but he had basically Robin Sue Miller. He had a kid with her, and he was kind of like, I don't know, you want to say living 2 lives. He had her, and she was kind of out in the street doing her thing. She was a known prostitute, a known drug user. In the first week or so of the investigation, we were focused probably 100% on Jack Schaefer. Everyone we talked to said he had a bad temper, and he was constantly yelling and screaming at Robin, so, you know, they were kind of just pointing in that direction.
The child Jack and Robin Sue have together is Courtney Haswell's youngest half-sister, who was only 1 year old at the time. Courtney, however, was 17 and had been in foster care for 4 months because of her parents' drug use. She has no idea how hard her life is going to be without her mother.
When it happened, I wasn't even allowed to go with my father and my aunt or my uncle to go be with them after the funeral. I had to go back to foster care. Like, that was horrible, not being able to be with my family. So it was a rough, my first like week, I wasn't with my family. I had to deal with it all by myself as a 17-year-old girl in a home like that. I didn't know these people that well, you know. So that was hard. That was really hard, actually. That was rough.
With suspicion on Jack Schaefer, police anxiously awaited the results of the autopsy and coroner's report. It details evidence of 4 unique DNA samples in Robin Sue's body and on her clothing, including sperm samples and skin cells.
The real kicker was when the DNA results came back from Jack Schaefer. When his DNA results came back, nothing matched. Didn't match anything anywhere.
Tragedy strikes exactly 1 month after Robin Sue's murder. Jack Schaefer is found dead of natural causes in his home. With Jack's death and no matches to the DNA samples on Robin Sue's body, investigators are forced to track down other leads.
We know at least 3 or 4 different people during that time that had had a sexual relationship with Robin Sue, and every one of them could have been or is a suspect in her homicide.
Shortly after, several of the investigators retire and Captain DeLuca inherits the case. There is a turning point in the investigation.
We got a hit confirmation on a DNA sample.
We had 3 major suspects in this case at one time. Personally, I think it's down to 1 major suspect.
That suspect, who can't be identified because of the ongoing investigation, is interviewed by police after his DNA turned out to be the hit.
He was very nervous. He just kept repeating. To this day, he keeps definitely stating, you know, he knows a lot of white females, but he does not know Robin Sue Miller, and he never had contact with Robin Sue Miller. We had a couple meetings on that. Everybody agreed we didn't have enough to do anything.
Attention turns to an accusation against an ex-drug dealer of Robin's, whom she may have stolen drugs from. But when that suspect dies after a long battle with cancer, the case comes to a standstill.
There wasn't a lot of evidence to collect. That was the problem. All we had was evidence off of her body, really. I mean, there just wasn't nothing to go on. It wasn't like a homicide scene where you go in a house and you collect blood spatter and you collect this or that. There was no weapons. You know, that's all we had. You have so much information and so many leads that you went and looked at, and you have 4 DNA samples. 3 of them are confirmed. 1 of them still isn't confirmed. And you just don't have any way to go at this point, you know, unless you would get a confession.
There's the 4th DNA, and it has been run, and it continues to be run on a regular basis against CODIS to see if that person is in the system in any which way.
I mean, she was found in a relative, I would say remote, but basically an out-of-the-way place. So you can never rule out the possibility that that DNA could come back to somebody who's never really been in the realm of the investigation to begin with. And that's the real benefit of DNA.
While investigators hope for a hit on the DNA, Courtney Haswell hopes for closure. More than a decade after her mother's murder, a killer still walks the streets.
It's been 10 years, and if I could get some closure with this, like, it would be so much weight off my shoulders. Like, not knowing, and I live in Beaver County still, makes it hard, you know? Like, the person that killed my mom could be living in the same town as me. You know, that's scary.